Assalamu alaikum everyone, how's everyone doing? So for today's video I have created this look. I hope you guys like this video. If you want to find out how I got it, please continue watching. Thank you. So to start off with, I'm going to be doing my brows first, and for that I'll be using the MAC Low Lights Pro Longwear Fluid Line. I'm just doing little strokes to outline my eyebrows and then using the spoolie to brush off my hair. Here I'm just using the leftover product on the brush to fill in my brows, and I'm going to go ahead and use the spoolie to brush out everything. So there we have it, brows are done. Now moving on, I'm going to be setting my brows using the MAC Brow Set, and it's in clear. So I'm just going to use it to spoolie out my brows. This will help it set my brow products and make my brows look good for a long time. Moving on to my face now, I'll be using the Smashbox, the original Photo Finish Smooth and Blur Primer. I'll be taking a little bit on my hand and I'll be just using my fingers to smooth it out on my face. This is actually one of the best primers. It lasts all day and it actually keeps my foundation pretty matte. So for my foundation today, I'll be using Becca Ultimate Coverage 24-Hour Foundation, and I'm in the shade Bamboo. I'll be taking a little bit on my hand and dabbing it with my beauty blender. I'll be using that to blend it out on my face as well. As you guys can see, it gives a pretty good coverage. I don't need to go ahead and use concealer on top to cover any of my spots. I like the way that it looks. It's pretty matte and it gives a full coverage for sure. And it's pretty lightweight compared to other foundation where they give a full coverage, but it feels very heavy on your face. This isn't like that. It's pretty lightweight and it gives you a full coverage. Now moving on to concealer, I'm using the Smashbox Studio Skin Flawless 24-Hour Concealer, and I'm using the shade Light Warm today. This is actually lighter than my regular concealer, but I wanted to go ahead and use this so I can highlight under my eye and highlight the spots that I want to highlight. I like to usually highlight under my eyes, down my nose bridge, a little bit on the chin, and a little bit on the forehead. This helps to enhance and brighten these areas. I'm using my beauty blender now to blend it all out. I tried using the back of my beauty blender, but it didn't help as much, so I flipped it back to the pointy part to get in the corners of my eye, and I'll be blending it all out. For today, I'll be using the One Size Patrick Star Visionary Eyeshadow Palette, and as my transition shade, I'll be using Taupe of My Game, and I'll be putting that in my crease and blending it out. So I'll be doing the same thing onto my other eye now. And I'm looking down because I have a mirror there. But basically just picking up the shade and placing it on my crease and blending it. Lots of blending. Now I'm taking Brownie. It's a deeper brown shade and I'm just going over the crease again, but this time making it a little darker. So here I'm using my Too Faced Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer and I'm using the shade Warm Beige. I'm just going to put these in my inner corner of my lids just to give it a little highlight to brighten up my inner corners. So when I put a lighter shade, it's going to give that nude effect. I'm just using a flat brush to press on the concealer instead of sweeping it, because if I were to sweep it, the product will come off on the brush. So instead of sweeping, I'm using the tapping method. So you just tap in the product to your lids. So now I'm just picking up the shade Mango. It's a lighter orangey peachy shade, and I'm using my finger to dab that onto my inner lids. I'm using the same brush that I used for my crease to blend this mango as well. Now I'm using the e.l.f. H2O proof eyeliner pen to make a small wing. Again, this is one of my favorite eyeliners to use. It's super easy to use and the formula is pretty good and it stays all day. Like they said, it's waterproof. I like to use the same eyeliner to do a small line on my waterline and move it around with my finger. So when I'm putting the eyeliner pencil in my waterline, it gives it a little bolder look. I'm just gonna go ahead and curl my lashes and get them nice and curled to apply my mascara. So for my mascara today, I'll be using the Maybelline Colossal in Classic Black. This is one of my absolute favorite mascara ever. Like, I don't know how many I've been through this, but I love it so much. It's one of the best. Now I'll be using my Kat Von D Shade Plus Light Contour Palette and I'll be using Shadow Play and Subconscious. I like to mix them both when I'm doing it because Subconscious is a little too dark for me and Shadow Play is a little too light. So when I mix them together, I get the right tone for me. I like to suck on my cheeks so I can see my cheekbones and I'll just follow that along and use my brush to brush it through. Now from the same palette, I'll be taking Lyric. It's a yellow tone powder. It's kind of like banana powder. And I like to set my under eyes with that powder. It kind of brightens my under eye even more. Now I'll be taking my Sephora Trio Face Palette and I'm going to use the first shade. It's a peachy corally color and I'm going to use that as my blush. It's a beautiful color and I think it sets really well on my face and it gives a nice look. Now from the same palette again, I'm going to use a third color as my highlighter shade. It's a very nice subtle highlighter. It's not too bright and it's not to a point where you can't see it. You can see it. It's very subtle and beautiful on the skin. Now for my lip liner, I'm going to use Wet n Wild. It's in the shade Simma Brown. I like to have my liner really brown when I'm doing a nude look, so I'm going to outline it really dark brown and then blend it out with a nude lipstick afterwards. For my lipstick today, I'm going to be using the Revlon Ultra HD Matte Lip Color, and I'm using this shade Seduction. It's a very bright, nudie lipstick. I love to pair it with my brown lip liner. It blends out really nicely, and it's super matte. Alright guys, that concludes the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this look. I had lots of fun creating this look. If you'd like more looks like this, please let me know, and thanks for watching. Bye!